Yep. So welcome Lina to on my project, which is about the major assignment regarding a major PC from um teacher Khan Bopan, and this is relating to people skill. And for this project, it's called People Impact Project. So the first thing first, you need to get into deeper understanding regarding to what is the definition of communication or people skills. So from my perspective, like communication here refer to the way that people communicate, like in order to connect to one another, they have to talk with each other regarding to their homework, assignment at school, or activity at workplaces or other places by using many type of communication like verbal communication or non-verbal communication. And regarding the people skill, it is very useful in terms of communication because in order to make a good communication with other people, you have to be able to understand what other people thinks and what should you do to make a good conversation with other people and to create great memories with others and also to elaborate on any other work that you want to communicate smoothly. And this is what I'm thinking. Like, what do you think? You can add anything you want to add.
No.
Okay. So next, I'm going to talk about the project. Like it is called People Impact Project. So for the aim of this project is to improve someone's social skill through some courses by myself being an active mentor, taking a series of action toward a short-term goal. And in this case is to provide some further knowledge regarding to people skills and also to improve your confidence in terms of communication with other people. Um, and after this project, I hope that you will be able to have like more like self-awareness in terms of starting a conversation with stranger, especially a classmate that you never know before, and to make a good conversation and also to make more friends. Yes. Yeah, this is the profile for the mentor and mentee. Yep. And this is me, Chhim Kunviput. Yep. And my mentee, Lina. Yep. That's it. So the overall objective for this short-term courses is the first thing is to improve communication skill, dealing with new people. Yep. Like I mentioned, like stranger or someone you never talked to. And secondly is to try to have a better communication between colleagues and friends. And I want to clarify here that it is very important for you when you finish and graduate and go into workplace, and you have to have this kind of skill in order to make connection, and it also help you to do your job better, like easier, smoothly. Yep. And for the method of this short course is um, conducted via virtually via Microsoft Teams, like we are doing right now, and we can have like a Q&A during the presentation and sometime after the presentation. And for the session that I will be mentoring will be based on the 5 important factors regarding to people skills. So the first thing will be being a good listener. The second point is friendliness, and the third point is open-mindedness, and fourth, confident, and lastly, providing suitable feedback. And these 5 elements here is what we need every day to actually, um, like be able to be like for some other people to see us like we are good people that they can approach they can depend on us when they have something to tell us. Like for other reason is that to not make friends, not enemies. And this is for the introduction. So thank you for your attention. And I hope you can understand what are the main objective of this short course and what we are trying to achieve here. So do you have any things that you are not clear that you want me to clarify? Feel free to tell me.
Yes, I have one question. In those five, in your opinion, which one is the most important?
Um, for me personally, I do think the five like are important, but the most important one, yeah, I think it's confident. Because most of people lack confidence, and whenever in class or in workplace, even though they know the answer to something, but they don't have the confidence to do so, most of the time they just step back, and do nothing while they really know the answer. And if you are more confident, you will be able to achieve anything that you want in life. Like traveling abroad alone, like if you don't have the confidence, you won't be able to do so. And being confident is also a push to many other factors regarding to your working progress. If you don't have confidence in doing anything, or you don't have confidence focusing on one thing or to achieving something, you won't be able to do so. You need to have the positive thinking that you can do it and you go for it so you can achieve it. Um, that's it. So do you have any other question?
Yes. What should people do to gain back their confidence? If like they are shy people or something like that.
So actually, to gain more confidence, for me personally, you need to try to be confident yourself. Like whenever a teacher trying to ask you some question and the one answer, you need to have like a little adrenaline in order to push yourself up and answer that question in front of everyone. And you have to do it again and again and again. And in many times you will get used to it, and your confidence level will increase gradually. Yes, and I think that for most people it's very difficult, and it does also does for me because most of the time, whenever there are some question on the line that no one tries to answer, and I really want to stand up and answer the question, I didn't push myself hard enough to actually go for it, and most of the time I lack confidence, I lack the experiencing the feeling that whenever you go for something like talking in front of people, you don't usually do it, so you don't have the feeling of like confidence. So if you want to gain confidence in order to do so, you need to practice it. Like you have to push yourself many times in order to get used to it. Yes. Anything else?
Another question is like when people are upset minded, and how can you do to make them become an open minded people?
Oh, yeah, that's difficult question because I think that for those absent-minded person, it's kind of like difficult or other word impossible to change the person, but there are ways to change them. But in many times, you need to have an expert regarding to this kind of stuff in order to help that absent mind person to develop their mindset into open mind person. Because most of the time, those people might experience many trauma or other kind of like sadness in their life, and they experience other thing that makes them feel like they shouldn't listen to other, they should focus on listening to themselves. And that kind of feeling is very difficult to change because you need a very long period of time in order to make changes to that person, because we need to let that person experience in life more and more. But in reality, many people who are absent-minded, they never change, and it is difficult to change them. I do believe that you have a lot of experience with this kind of people. Yep. Anything else?
Yeah, that's all for my question.
Okay. Yes. So I have nothing else to say. So let's end our introduction here, and I think we can move on to our first session. Um. So welcome to my first lecture, which is regarding to being a good mentoring listener. Um. So I will be mentoring you regarding to be a good listener. Yes. So you may ask what it is. What is it about being a good listener? Do you think it is important in our daily life? Do we have to use it more often in order to accomplish something like at workplace or at school? So being a good listener here can have a lot of positive consequences, such as enhanced productivity. Like if you are able to listen well to your teammate in your assignment team or in workplace, you will be able to understand each other well, so you will work together well as well, and therefore, um, your work result will also increase. And the next one is also to improve relation. Improve relation here means it can be any relationship like friends, family, sibling, or cousin. Whenever you are a good listener, whenever they have a problem, they can approach you and you can try to listen about their problem and try to figure it out any solution that you think is suitable for them. And the third one, avoid conflict. Yes, this is also very good point because most of the time when you don't understand each other, it mostly lead to conflicts. It doesn't mean the conflict is big or small. It can be started with relationship or family member or communication in workplaces. Only a small misinterception of a message can lead to like conflict and leads you to make enemies in workplace. Just like small misunderstanding. And yep. And the fourth point is improved understanding. Like I mentioned above, it's like if you are a good listener, you can understand other people. So in result, you will be able to understand them well. And the fifth one is improved negotiation skills. So for this point, being a good listener can be great to use, like a skill to use in during work, especially business meeting discussion. You can use your this skill to actually try to understand what this going of like the meeting is about and try to use the skill to understand the other people intention uh and then you can sum up what you want to say and then try to persuade them that you want to do something or something like that. And the sixth one, at your image or personality. Like in general, as you can see that a good listener can be described as a good person because whenever we have a problem, we can approach them and they will try to listen to you no matter what. And in the end, they will give you a feedback that you would agree on. Yes, and also can relieve your stress or your problem. And I don't need to mention the other two. Yep, I also mentioned that it will help you stand out, like being a good person, a good citizen. If you are a good listener, like a lot of people have problem and you need this good listener, like friends or family. Anything you are not clear, you can add or you can ask question. Um,
To become a good listener, what do you think that people need in themselves?
um, for this point, I will clarify it in the upcoming slide because yes, being good listener can can be stated as difficult. Sometimes it's depend on the person. Yeah. So I will elaborate this point in the next slide. So first, let me give the definition of a good listener. So, a good listener here is like a process of receiving or interpreting to message, and you have a clear understanding about the message, and you can give a good feedback back to the to the sender. And a good listener here is like a skill that some people can hear out but do not listen, which means that some people can only hear but they did not listen to what you're saying, and this can break down the relationship. So communication can end in a wrong communication, which is like can end in a wrong interpretation, can lead to negative consequences like conflict, like I mentioned above. And another given definition for good listener is it is a part of communication, like it is different from hearing because listening and hearing is two different meaning. Hearing is you only hear the message, but you don't have a clear understanding about the message. While listening, you are able to hear the message that were sent to you, and also you understand the meaning of the message. Um, and I'm not really sorry that I cannot give a clear definition about the good listener here. But the three definition here, I got it from Google, and some is from journal that researchers trying to giving definition to a good listener. Um, so as you know that in our modern societies, the number of depression people are increasing. So good listener can play a key role here because they can be sure to those depression people, because most of the time those depressed people just need someone to have a better understanding about them, try to listen to them and what they really want, so that they can get back into reality, and they still think that there are people who can understand them. Like this can also play a key role in order to stop the number of suicide in our society. And the same goes with the workplace. So if any of the college have a good listening skill, their work will go smoothly, and it's also create a friendly environment to everyone. Like if you are able to have a good listening skill, you can ask anyone who are working with you whether they have any problems, so they can speak out to you, and you can try to solve any of the problem that he or she has. And it's also like create a wonderful place that people want to work. While in some workplace, the bosses, they are not like understand, not able to listen well to their colleague, to their workers, and therefore leading to misunderstanding, and it's create a very chaotic environment for the workers. Like every time they go to work, they feel like they're not being treated well, and like going to a place where you are being punished just to get some money, not to a place where you can be happy and gain money as well. Um, this is just like a small slogan that says every good conversation start with a good listener. Yes, and it's true, for it's a fact for every conversation that happens around us, because if you don't listen to them well, you will not be able to achieve a good coherence in your conversation. So you will ended up don't understand each other, and this can happen in many places and anytime in our life because, for example, like you are playing with your phone and then your mom trying to talk something to you like she wants to talk about this and that, but you you wasn't paying attention and you only can catch up with some word that she trying to explain about something, and then you trying to give a feedback which is um not well connected with what she's trying to say. So it ended up like a misunderstanding between the two. So a good listener here is it cannot be like just listening or hearing out on other people think. You need to pay close attention to what they're trying to say, not and also trying to understand what are they feeling and trying to give feedback um what I can say this trying to give feedback regarding to the situation that the person is in. For example, like if they are mad at something, they trying to use offensive words towards something, you need to listen to them. Trying like you can just try to stop them, but don't mock them or doing something negative to them. Try to soften like yeah they did it wrong, they did it like it's not good, but you need and then when they calm down you can explain them that no you shouldn't do this, they do that, try to go along with him first, yes, but that's what I mean, try to go along with them first, and then when they um like feeling normal again, you can explain them afterward that they did it was wrong and they shouldn't do that. See, so I have a video that we can watch together about being a good listener. And after the being a good listener here, we will talk about how to become a good listener. So can you actually see my screen?
No, it's still on the slide.
Uh, can you hear?
No, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, so you can spend some time listening to it on your own, I think. Wait, let me check again. Sorry, I misclicked. Recording in progress. Yeah. Um, screen.
Yet few of us know how to do it. Not
Can you hear it?
no one has
Yes, I
taught
can
us
hear it
how.
now.
And a related point,
Yes,
being a good listener is one of the most important and enchanting life skills anyone can have. Yet few of us know how to do it, not because we're evil, but because no one has taught us how. And a related point, no one has listened to us. So we come to social life greedy to speak rather than listen, hungry to meet others but reluctant to hear them. Friendship degenerates into a socialized egoism. Like most things, it's about education. Our civilization is full of great books on how to speak. Cicero's Orator and Aristotle's Rhetoric were two of the greatest in the ancient world. But sadly, no one has ever written a book called The Listener. There are a range of things that the good listener is doing that makes it so nice to spend time in their company. Firstly, they egg us on. It's hard to know our own minds. Often we're in the vicinity of something, but we don't quite close in on what's really bothering or exciting us. We hugely benefit from encouragement to elaborate, to go into greater detail, to push just a little further. We need someone who, rather than launch forth on their own, will simply say those two magic words, "Go on." You mention a sibling and they want to know a bit more. What was the relationship like in childhood? How's it changed over time? They're curious where our concerns and excitements come from. They ask things like, why did that particularly bother you? Why was that such a big thing for you? They keep our histories in mind. They might refer back to something we said before, and we feel they're building up a deeper base of engagement. Secondly, the good listener urges clarification. It's fatally easy to say vague things. We simply mention that something is lovely or terrible, nice or annoying, but we don't really explore why we feel this way. The friend who listens often has a productive, friendly suspicion of some of our own first statements and is after the deeper attitudes that are lurking in the background. They take things we say like, I'm fed up with my job, or my partner and I are having a lot of rows, and they help us to focus in on what it really is about the job we don't like, or what the rows are really about. They're bringing to listening an ambition to clarify the underlying issues. They don't just see conversation as the swapping of anecdotes. They're reconnecting the chat you're having over pizza with the philosophical ambitions of Socrates, whose dialogues are records of his attempts to help fellow Athenians understand their ideas and values in a better way. Thirdly, good listeners don't moralize. The good listener is acutely aware of how insane we all are. They know their own minds well enough not to be surprised or frightened about this. They're skilled at making occasional little positive sounds, strategic that delicately signal sympathy without intruding on what we're trying to say. They give the impression that they recognize and accept our follies. They're reassuring us they're not going to shred our dignity. A big worry in a competitive world is that we feel we can't afford to be honest about how distressed we are. Saying one feels like a failure could mean being dropped, but the good listener signals early and clearly that they don't see us in these terms. Our vulnerability is something they warm to rather than are appalled by. Lastly, good listeners separate disagreement from criticism. There's a huge tendency to feel that being disagreed with is an expression of hostility. And obviously, sometimes that's right, but a good listener makes it clear that they can really like you and at the same time think you're wrong. They make it plain that their liking for you isn't dependent on constant agreement. They're powerfully aware that a really lovely person could end up a bit muddled and in need of some gentle untangling. When we're in the company of people who listen well, we experience a very powerful pleasure. But too often we don't really realize what it is that this person's doing that's so nice. By paying strategic attention to the pleasure, we can learn to magnify it and offer it to others, who will notice, hear, and repay the favor in turn. Listening deserves discovery as one of the keys to a good society.
So this is the end of the video. I think you can learn more from what we're listening. Yes, and the presenter elaborate more points regarding to what we should um be doing, and the society needs to have a good listener, and they need to have like something like a course for people to become a good listener. Yes. So, what do you think about the video? What anything that you want to say or you want to add? Video.
I have nothing to add to that
Yeah.
video.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, I have nothing to add.
Oh, nothing. Okay. So, I do think that people need to take out a lot of the thing that the video has said. Like it provide a lot of example. Like people sometimes can go crazy, and they just need a gentle, untangling, like mentioned in the video, like to be listened to it well by people who understand them.
Don't
And
you think
next,
that people
yes,
should be more patient
yes,
before they act out?
for some people, and some people, patience play a key role in everything. Yes, and for some, they even though the patient is um like it's the key, but at some time they cannot things out quickly, and they tend to according to the situation, and it just needs so for someone like to be able to understand them well, But yes, it can happen many times in many places. For example, like at school, sometimes a lot of stuff, a lot of assignment can also cause this kind of action. Whenever you do, especially in first place, you will be able to understand the feeling when you have a lot of work. While, like for example, you and your colleague receive different amount of work, and they tend to don't care about it. And sometimes, you lost your patience, you lost your control over your feeling, like why you are being overtaken, offensive of most of the time. Yep. And a school assignment, free rider as well. When it's too much, you call out to your teacher that for in my group, like you tend to work alone rather than with other people, and other people they don't care about completing their assigned tasks. And at that point, you just don't have any more patience. Like whenever you meet that person again and they do the same thing, you still cannot hold your feeling. You know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, why they should make everything together into just like one problem when mostly you can focus on one problem more than focus on everything in the same time.
Yeah, it depends on people. It depends on what they've been through and what experience. Um, yes, most of the time you can see that people like multitasker tend to involve a lot of things at the same time. So for some, they only focus on one thing at a time, and it's a two different conception between the two. Like for me, when I was studying during my senior year, grade 12, I tend to do a lot of multitasking, and every single day, even playing game, doing homework, watching YouTube while completing assignment, and you can also do other stuff like, and for some people, other people, they only focus on one thing, and we have two of that type of people in our life, and you can actually know yourself to look at your friends, at your family. Yes, but I do think that when it comes to problem, sounds, the more depressed you are, the more you think about everything, and that's as simple as that. When you are not depressed, you can able to focus more on the problem. And for depression, like people, they just like confused in what they are doing, and they tend to look at everything and come up with a conclusion, which is not good. Yep.
Yep, that's why they should listen more before they come to the conclusion.
Okay. So anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's all.
Okay. So let's move to the next point, which is how you can become a good listener. So in order to become a good listener, like you have experience in most of your life, if you have a friend that you tend to understand well, you will able to understand the feeling. In result, you can be a good listener to them whenever they have a problem. But to be a good listener in general, you have to know the general feeling of people whenever they're trying to saying something out. Stay tuned, like you stay focused to what is trying to say. Don't interrupt their speech. Let them finish what they want to say until they have no other words to add. And you should not change the subject whenever they try to speak their feeling out. You should stay on the topic until you think that is enough that you can change the topic. And do not show boredom, because if you are showing any kind of you know facial reaction that you are not uh, really happy to listen to the story, they will feel like they're not important. They feel like you don't really care about them. And another one is to make eye contact. Whenever they're trying to speak, something out, you can just try to make eye contact, even though if you don't really understand what they are trying to say, but making eye contact make them realize that you are understanding them. And usually let them go first. Yes, let them go, let them try to speak what they want to. Yes, and don't try to force them or trying to like you know just let them say everything all out. Yep, like be present, respond. Yep, like mentioned above, and don't focus too much on vocabulary as long as you understand. Yes, this is also important because you don't need to focus too much on what um the word come out of their mouth. Just try to understand the meaning of the message that or she tried to interpret to you, and be specific in your own word. Yep, being a good listener, you need to bring back the feedback to the sender, and every word you speak back to them, you need to think that is it suitable for their situation, is it suitable for their personality. When you say it, do you think that you will get negative consequence, not negative um back, And most of the time when you don't understand about what they are saying, you can try to actually ask them some questions. What are they trying to say? Um, what uh, what do you think that I can help? Like ask them what can you help them out? Yes. I think that's it for this. And if you want to add anything, you can feel free to do so.
Yeah, I think a good listener also need to be patient with the speaker.
Yeah, that's why that's mean that you don't need to interrupt and you need to stay tuned, make eye contact. Yeah.
I
Mm,
don't have any more to add to this.
okay. So this is a quote from Egan Garen. It means that you do not listen with your ears, you listen with your eyes and with your sense of touch. You listen with your mind, your heart, and your imagination. Yes, this is a powerful quote because you cannot just listen with your ears, which means that you only hear them out, you don't listen to them, and you try to make some facial reaction or movement to show your understanding about what it's trying to say, and therefore you will show that you are a good listener to that person, and in turn they will feel pleasure to be around you, that because they get someone to understand them and listening is a critical communication skill for managers. It's also for Hamilton, as well as for all of us in our personal life, especially as a student, as a colleague, as an undergraduate, or other type of application. So for a good conversationalist, it's popular because good listeners know that people love and like good listeners because they tend to be a relief for those who are having a problem. So good. Hello.
Yes,
Wait. I was disconnected. Can you see the slide now?
yes, it's okay now.
Okay, so this is not gonna share the slide. So yeah, as the last point, our conclusion is a good listener bring life to a conversation and effective communication. And I have a little small picture here says that I hear you, but I'm not listening. So it's not good. You need to pay full attention to anyone who's trying to say something to you. Yes. And that's the end. And if you have any question, you can feel free to ask, or you have anything to add. Yeah.
I have a question according to the point that you have mentioned. Which one is the most important one for people to be a good listener?
a good listener, to be a good listener, you need to have this bunch of points. But the thing is, you need to the most important one. If you don't want to listen to them, just don't show bottom like some people what they are trying to say. And if you really disagree with what they are saying, you need to wait until they finish their speech in order to show your disagreement. And yeah, also don't interrupt. Most of the time, the two, the uninterrupt and don't show bottom is the key role to be a good listener. And for to be a better listener, you have to follow all this point here. Like as you know and yourself, when you're trying to show your understanding to someone, you need to like stay tuned to what they're saying, don't interrupt them, don't show bottom to them, make eye contact, make physical contact with them that you understand them well. Yes.
Do you think it easy for people to be a good listener?
Um, on paper, yes, you can see here this bunch of point is kind of like it's easy to execute for you to be a good listener, but in reality, a lot of people have different personality. And for this point here, I can say that it's a general perception to what people should do when you want to become a good listener. But uh, even if you have a different personality, and I can say that not a lot of people can become a good listener. You need to have a friend or someone who understand you well in order to be your good listener. But to become a good listener in general is kind of like difficult. Yes. Because for most people, they tend to understand some people, but they don't understand other people. When the people they don't understand try to tell them the problem, they can they can also be a bad listener while they can be a good listener to other people. Yes. You know what I'm trying to say here? Like you can be a good listener for some people, while you can also be a bad listener for some people. But in order to become a good listener in general, it's like difficult.
What does that mean? The last point that you have said?
Uh, yes, I'm trying to say that to become a good listener in general is difficult. Like you can be a good listener for everyone, but for us, we cannot understand everyone, so we can just be a good listener to some people while being a bad listener to some people.
Okay.
Yep. And this point right here, don't get confused. It's just like I'm trying to illustrate that in order to become a good listener in general, like you can be a good listener to anyone, to your friends, families, anyone. Yeah. Like sometimes you
Yep.
can get frustrated listening to someone because they have different mindset than you. That can be a problem too. So you need to understand what their personality of them is are, and you try to situate yourself in their situation. Yeah.
So you mean if we want to find a good listener, we have to find someone who have the personality which is similar to us?
Yes. Yeah, we can say that. But everyone's want people like to be a good listener in general. So you can be a good listener to everyone. Yeah, you can come across this kind of person once in a while because they are very rare. They can actually, you know, create a very friendly environment for everyone. If you don't
Okay.
understand, I can explain to you in Khmer because it's okay as well.
Yes, after you.
Yeah. So okay, I think that's it for the whole session. So thank you for your listening, not only hearing, because You need to listen in order to understand, not only hear it out. And thank you for your participation. And I'm very thankful that I have you as my mentee, and we will be working together throughout another 4 session, and we will come to this, the end of this short course in the next 4 weeks because we will do it once a week. And thank you for your coming.
Yep, thank you.